getting together with us, and Liz Maxwell, also from Glenfiddich. Really appreciate it. So, you've been sponsoring events, piping events, for 40 odd years now, since 1974, I believe, was the first Grand Championship.
Involved in it from the start.
How did that start? Was it a connection with a certain individual, or?
It was a conversation with Seamus McNeill and one of our marketing directors. No idea how it started, but that's when the seed was sown and the whole thing started then.
Mm-hmm. And was there a particular connection with piping in your family, Sandy?
Uncle Frank was probably.
Yes, Francis Collins
Right.
was my mother's. Was married to my aunt.
And he wrote Francis Collinson, the Bagpipe.
That's right. Yes.
The well-known book in I believe in the 1960s. That was
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So he was a direct connection that we had with the piping world.
But did he introduce you to the idea of sponsorship at all, or
No.
was
Who was it?
it Seamus?
Probably not. No, it'd probably just be this marketing idea
Yeah.
of what can we do
Mm-hmm.
to support Scottish culture, I'm imagining. And the bagpipe was the one that was chosen, and it started then.
Well, it's now Glenfiddich is almost synonymous with great piping events,
Yeah.
including Piping Live. This event that we're at now in the 10th, 11th year, I believe.
Oh, well, this is a lady who has been involved with that since the start.
This one, yes, from day one, yes.
And of course the Glenfiddich Championships, which
Yes.
is the top event of any solo piper's career.
Yeah.
If you make it to the Glenfiddich, it's
No, it's been, bearing in mind, it's an operation I can remember. Well, Liz would remember better than I would, but when we started, we were sort of very cautious as to how we would go, because
Well, it was virgin territory. We didn't know.
it was felt that people would that there might be a bit of suspicion amongst sort of conservative pipers.
really
Yes, it was felt that sponsorship there could be regarded as being a bit too commercial, and by and large, you don't think of that now, but when you started, we were worried about that, but it all from day one it went off very well.
That's great. Well, it seems to be a match. Like I said, it's Glenfiddich and piping are synonymous now.
Yeah.
Are there any pipers in your family, particularly?
Not
Anyone actually play?
not that I know of.
A musical family, though.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, you're a very musical
Yes,
family.
we certainly have been, have had, I'm trying to think who all that has been. We've all got a different sort of form of interest
Right.
in the musical world.
Great.
Historically, who was the Boys' March in Dufftown, Dad?
The boys,
The Boys' Walk?
the boys walk.
But they're not piping in there, and that was...
Yeah,
but that
there
was
would
some
be the
generations behind.
Dufftown. It's the New Year's Day. There's what's known as the boys walk.
Mm-hmm.
The boys who parade are mainly sort of rather geriatric boys.
But there would have been piping at that time.
it's a march that they begin at the centre of the town, and they all go out,
Right.
because Dufftown is a sort of like a cross, and so we all go off up one leg of the cross and turn round and come back again and out the other side.
On New Year's Day.
Yes,
And there would always be pipers who would be leading that, or?
there'd be pipers. Yes.
Very good. What about, are there particularly memorable piping events that you've been involved with? Can you remember any Glenfiddich championships that kind of stood out in your mind?
It would be difficult. You would probably have a better understanding.
I can't think of one that would be better
Yes.
or more interesting than the others. They all have their own interesting aspects, and the different competitors can give it a slightly different feel on
Yeah.
the day. But it changed from the Grants Piping Championship to the Glenfiddich Piping Championship. Maybe 1980.
Yeah.
I can't really remember
Yeah.
when that would be, but there's a lot of people still refer to it as the Grants.
Grants, yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
But the same people in the audience at Blair Castle, a lot older now, but you see the same faces year
Yeah.
in, year out
Yeah.
coming along. And of course we had the wonderful Duke,
Yes.
the late Duke, who presented the prizes at the end of the event.
Yes.
That was just the icing on the cake for us. That was lovely. We don't have that anymore, but we have the lovely Maggie who does. She does that, and it was that was nice. But a memorable occasion, I can't really think of one that stood out better.
Yeah. What about the year of the boycott, the piping boycott, with the no one remembers what exactly it was about, but there must have been some challenges that year at
Yes,
at the
well,
Glenfiddich.
We just ran the thing, and
We did have a conversation, if you remember,
Yes.
in West George Street.
yeah,
I think it was Murray Henderson was the president of the CPA at that time, and I think Willie McCallum and
yeah,
oh gosh, I can't remember now, but they
Yeah.
came into West George Street and we had a meeting and suggested to them that we would not support the qualifying events for that year, and they said they thought that probably was a very good idea. So we just drew out the results of the last 10 years of the championship and calculated who should
people
be
would
invited.
qualify on the basis of what had happened in the
Yeah.
past 10 years, not because we had the 1 year and that suited everybody.
That's good.
It was
yeah.
a good, we sort of paid homage to and we respected.
And we had a
Yes.
full house, which
People.
is probably the only competition of that whole year that did have the normal audience capacity. So it obviously didn't it didn't cause people to think we were doing the wrong thing.
Do you, for piping overall, do you think it gets enough support in Scotland by the community, by other organisations? I know that obviously you like to support the events, but would you like to see more involvement?
I think there are other companies who could become involved
Yeah.
in supporting events. I'm quite sure there are.
It's possible that actually what we do is well enough established that puts other folk off actually coming.
Well, I think we simply now support the continuation of the events that we have under the Glenfiddich umbrella. We don't really take on any additional events unless it's an exceptional thing. But there are other companies, I think, out there that could get involved in the support of the music, particularly the band side of things. We tend to be solo piping,
Right.
Yes.
except when we had our Spirit of Scotland pipe band, which was unique. But no, I think there's room for other people to be involved in the support of the instrument.
What about do you look for other piping events all the time to spread the Glenfiddich banner across?
Not
Are
really.
you approached a lot?
We're approached on a regular basis by lots and lots of different kinds of establishments, but it's not always possible, and a monopoly is not a good thing.
Yeah, that's very true. If you're the only person who has any connection there, and you elbow anyone else out coming in, that doesn't create a good impression.
Yeah, it takes a deft touch of marketing to recognise that.
But we have, we really don't have marketing involved in any of the Glenfiddich events. We are fortunately ring-fenced, and we, to say we do our own thing is perhaps not the right way to describe it, but we don't have any of the marketing team stepping in to change things in a way that the family wouldn't want it changed.
So it's strictly what you personally
It's
want
essentially
to do.
Liz is the competition.
It's simply, I think we're very fortunate that we have the support to continue the way we would like it to go, and it's been running very well for the last almost 50 years, so I would think we must be going down the right road.
Yeah.
So it's, I think people don't know that about the Glenfiddich involvement, that it's more of a personal thing rather than the kind of corporation behind it.
What is
Well,
it?
it's the name is the name is the name, and it's the Glenfiddich.
Yes, it's not entirely that, Andrew. We have the William Grant Foundation within the company, who are very supportive and very caring about the things that have been already established that should continue the way, well, if it's not broken, it doesn't need fixed. But we have that support behind us, which is really, really good.
Good. And what do you think of Piping Live? I mean, Glenfiddich has been a sponsor since the very beginning, and you must come to it now and see it grow every year. It must be quite gratifying to be a part of that success.
It's good. I mean, the good thing is we don't run it.
That is yes, that's right. We just stand back and let someone else do all the work.
Yes.
That's good. And what about the future plans for Glenfiddich's involvement in piping events? See it continuing far into the ahead, and
As far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm about it, will continue, and as far as Liz is about it, will continue, and probably as far as Maggie is about it, will continue.
Don't go there, Dad.
well, that's terrific. And any clues as to any things coming up in the future that we might look forward to? Obviously, the Glenfiddich itself is. Is there going to be any expansion to that competition or any other competitions?
Well, our live streaming is
Yeah.
a great success, and this is 4th year now
Yeah.
that we're doing the live streaming, and we introduce little bits and pieces on an annual basis. But as far as the qualifying events and the way the competition is run, I would doubt very much if we would ever have anything that was out of the ordinary.
Right.
I don't know if the Pipers would like that.
I would think I suspect it is sufficiently established and is highly regarded, and I think that it would need to be something very special that would make us change that. And if there were to be any changes, we would have a fair degree of consultation to see that what was being done was acceptable to the piping community.
My personal opinion is the success of the Glenfiddich in particular is Mr. Sandy's ethos of, if there was a question of should this happen or shouldn't it happen, should we do this or should we do that, and I would speak to him about it and he would say, what do you think the Pipers would like? And if the answer was yes, they would like it, it happened. If it was no, they wouldn't, it didn't. That was...
Yeah, that's about it.
Well, that's a great approach to take. It's the Pipers.
No, and we don't press the publicity angle. I mean that is in a sense well enough established. We get what we want on that front, but so we don't have to bang the drum, too much on that front.
Right. Okay. Well, it's terrific. It's been great talking to you. We really appreciate it, and I think the whole piping world really appreciates everything that you've done for piping.
We're actually, with hindsight, and Liz is the lady who takes the credit for this. It's been established in a way that has not been too commercialised, but because of that, it gets us probably more publicity than we would, much as we would expect.
I would think goodwill is immeasurable. And I think we get a fair share of that.
That's great. Well, long may it continue.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.